Hi, I'm Luke,
And I'm Michael.
and we're here to introduce you to a breathtaking experience of Zion National Park.
But first, you have to know how to navigate through space.
The easiest way to do that is to look at the green reticles that lie within the environment.
Once you look at them long enough, you will activate them and glide effortlessly to that location.
Please be patient while the project loads, as there are so many beautiful photographs that have to be loaded into the scene.
Enjoy the adventure and never stop exploring. Welcome to Zion National Park. The view you see in front of you is one of the more remarkable locations in the Zion Narrows. At its inauguration in 1909, what is now known as Zion National Park was named Makuntawip National Park. The southern Paiute word Makuntawip means straight up land or straight canyon, which probably refers to the very high, nearly perpendicular sandstone walls. Complaints from the local Mormon community in the early 20th century led to the renaming of the park in 1918 to Zion National Park. In biblical terms, the word Zion refers to a place of peace and refuge or sanctuary. The Narrows itself is about 15 miles in length and boasts some of the most impressive and dramatic Navajo sandstone cliffs in the country. Navajo sandstone frequently occurs as spectacular cliffs, cuestas, domes, and bluffs that rise from the desert floor. The wide range of colors exhibited by the Navajo sandstone reflect a long history of alteration by groundwater and other subsurface fluids. Welcome to Zion National Park. The view you see in front of you is one of the vertical walls above you might be easy to fly. They are over 1,000 feet high with a domain of over 289 species, including have fun, look around, never stop. Welcome to Zion National Park. The view you see in front of you is one of the more remarkable locations in the Zion Narrows.
The naming of Zion was once a very controversial topic in the Mormon community. In the 1850s, thousands of Mormons fled areas east of the Mississippi to what is now called Utah. The Mormon community spent the mid-19th century prospecting for farmland in what many considered an inhospitable landscape. This is eventually what brought Isaac the Nuhin, among many others, to the Virgin River Valley. The name of the park comes from the biblical reference to a refuge established by God. While Behunin thought Zion was worthy of its lofty name, Joseph Smith, the founder of Mormonism, called it not Zion. He argued that using such wording was blasphemy. Eventually, the more hardline members of the Mormon community softened their stance.
Before iPhones, Android devices, and Instagram, the American public relied on illustrated monthly periodicals to get to know the far-flung natural world. In the 19th century, Thomas Moran, chief illustrator of Scribner's Monthly, used his watercolors to achieve what now is much more easily achieved with a device that fits in your pants pocket. Imagine lugging tubes of paint, an easel, and all the art paraphernalia just for one image. Well, that was the life of the intrepid landscape painter, Moran included. Zion National Park was one of his favorite locations in the American West, and he completed a whole series of watercolors documenting this astonishing park. If you're touring the White House and notice a watercolor of the Grand Tetons, it is definitely Tom's work.
Though there are only about 100 California condors left in the wild, Zion has 2 confirmed resident condors soaring above these sandstone cliffs. Trek over to Angel's Landing if you want to take a closer look at America's largest bird. Also, it is rumored that there is a 3rd resident that has taken residence in Zion. This view is as remarkable as it is hard to achieve. You'd have to be a bird or base jumper to look down on the Narrows like this. Just so you know, base jumping is illegal at the park.
William Howard Taft inaugurated Zion National Park in 1909. Weighing in at well over 300 pounds, Taft is largely remembered as the most portly president in U.S. history. He was particularly fond of hash browns, broiled T-bone steaks, and salted almonds. In 1908, shortly after Taft's election victory, a Manhattan company would start work on the largest porcelain tub ever created for a human individual. This ample bathtub would make its way to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue the same year. Though better known for his dietary habits, Taft was responsible for spearheading many of the antitrust rules and regulations that exist today, and broke up twice as many companies as his predecessor, Teddy Roosevelt. Taft also cultivated a handlebar mustache that I'm sure would be the envy of baristas and bike messengers across the country. Other than his size and iconic mustache, Taft was apparently a dynamo on the dance floor.
If you take a drive down the Colorado Plateau and venture into the Grand Canyon, you will notice that many of the vantage points are on the rim of the canyon, which offers you some quite dramatic views of the landscape. Zion, on the other hand, has historically been accessed by the Virgin River, so many of the upper terraces and narrow gorges were never documented by early surveyors. A number of these areas are so well hidden by the vertical topography that early surveyors missed stretches some 20 miles long. The view from this hub has probably never been seen in human history. Almost 3.7 million people visited Zion National Park in 2015. That's up by a multiple of 1,000 from 1920. There were only 3,692 visitors in that year.